Hey everybody, welcome back to Grit and Grind. So today is Memorial Day. Remember that all gave some gave all. So happy Memorial Day. Hope you're spending time with your families, and happy Memorial Day to those who served. So it is time to do an oil change and fuel filters on the 2018 Nissan Titan XD with the 5.0 Cummins. So I am over here at the shop, and that's what we're going to do today because we have the lift installed in the shop. It's going to make this job really easy, but don't worry, you can do this on the ground without having to lift the truck up. I've done it many times. I do consider it a blessing that I have a lift, so we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to get the oil draining, filters changed, and hopefully be good to go. So I'll take you along step by step. But before I do that, I got to unlock the shop, probably move some stuff out of the way so we can get to the lift, and put some stuff away as I have some stuff that needs to go in the shop anyway. So I'll pick you back up in a little bit. All right, so we're underneath the truck right now. Pay no attention to the noise in the background. My dad and his buddy are working on a bucket truck over there. If you've never taken this off before, so this is your lift pump. There's a filter underneath here. This is 1.25 inches. This bracket actually has 2 bolts behind it, and it slides back and forth. So if this is too close, you won't be able to get a wrench on it. I've taken it off before, so it's not a big deal. But you could loosen these 2 nuts and slide this back, retighten it so you don't have to mess with it every time you're in here. So what you're going to do is you are going to unplug this by just getting right here, unplugging that, and then we're going to tuck that off to the side for a minute, just somewhere out of the way. And then there's a petcock on the back side here. We're going to open this up and drain out some fuel. And when we do that, we're actually going to crack this filter housing over, because if you don't, you can actually siphon the whole tank out by doing this. So let me put a pan underneath here to catch this, and then we'll get it draining. So I have an oil pan underneath here to catch whatever's draining. We're going to loosen this. This is also how you drain water. If you get water in there, and then actually looks like a little bit of water. And this is going to move, obviously, as you twist this around. So make sure your drain pan is ready to catch all this. And we're going to go. She's tight. She's been on here a while. This is an 1.25 inch socket. There we go. Now she's coming. And you want to be careful not to break this. She's tight. Now I'm actually getting good diesel out of here. But let me unscrew this and I'll pick you back up in a minute and show you what we got to do to replace it. All right, so got the filter out. This is the new filter. You want to make sure, see that green in there, that there's an O-ring in there, and there's an old O-ring on this housing. They're single use, so whenever you take this off, your new filter should come with a new ring. So we are going to pop this one off, discard that, and then we're going to put new one on and make sure it's seated all the way down. And if you take this filter off and you don't see your O-ring, then you want to look up in here in the housing and make sure it's not in there. So now you got your new O-ring on, and you're going to take a little bit of diesel, which I have some still on my hands, and we are going to just rub it around this O-ring to make sure that it can seat properly. And this filter will only go in one way. It's very different from the under the hood filter. So it's got these little tabs here that seat down, so make sure it's pressed all the way in. It's a snug fit because there's a little bit of a nub on the bottom of the filter and the bottom of this housing. So we're gonna make sure drain is closed, and we are going to just double check and make sure we're free of debris. Bottom of this filter housing, it looks pretty good, but I'm just giving it a wipe down to make sure there's nothing on there. And we're gonna screw it back on. Make sure it seats up there good. And you're not cross-threading because this is plastic into metal. So once she started on there, we're just gonna do the reverse process. Again, I am using 1.25 inch. This is an impact rated socket. Not that you have to use an impact rated socket, but I'm using that and it's tight. And you're going to make sure when you're tightening this up, you don't want to crack this housing by over tightening. So it's tight. I'm going to pick you back up in a minute once I get this on. All right, so that's back on, and you want to make sure not to over tighten your housing because you'll crack it. And you got your water and fuel sensor plug back in, drain closed. This is tightened up. It basically does bottom out. So again, just be careful. And then these bolts, if you need to get to them, they're 12mm to loosen this up. It was still a little tight, so I had to loosen it up just a touch. It's still hanging there just to be able to get enough play to get that sensor to spin around here. But that's it. We'll get onto the oil next. So right there is the oil pan, drain pan. That's the nut you got to get out. You can do it very easily with a 5/8. Yep, 5/8 socket and a small extension. So I already have it loose. So we are going to pop it out, let it drain, which I know is a little bit hard to see. I am trying to be careful. I got my drain pan underneath. So there's that. And I don't want to drop this. Hopefully not make a complete mess. There you go. Draining right out of there. So we'll let that drain, and I'll show you what we got to do after you take that cover off, which I already took it off, 12mm, your skid plate. I'll show you what you got to do to let that thing, to get to your filter housing, which is super easy, to get to your oil filter. To change it, we'll just let that drain for a minute, and I'll pick you back up. So there's your filter right there. I have oil completely drained at this point. I haven't put the drain plug back in because it's still just a little bit of residual dripping, which is fine. So I have my cover off. They're just 12mm bolts that hold this. And then there's my filter right there. And I have, I mean, you can use any kind of wrench you want to get it off there. You can even jab a screwdriver in there if you need to get your old one off, because sometimes they can be a pain. But I have a 93mm 36 flute filter wrench that goes on a 1/4 inch socket. So that's what I'm using to get this off. And it's not exactly easy to get in here. So I'm hoping you guys can see okay. It is slipping a little bit, but I was able to get a bite on this and turn it. It is turning a little at a time. It's probably not exactly right fitting, but it's the biggest one that I could find. She's coming ever so slightly. Might try and get a strap filter wrench on here because I still can't turn it by hand. But basically we're going to turn it off, put our new one in, call it a day on this, and then we can get to the under the filter hood and the oil. All right, so I have the oil filter changed, put back on there. I used a little bit of oil to lube up the O-ring, and I pre-filled it. Now I have the truck down off the lift. I am back up underneath the truck, and right now we have the under hood filter housing that we're going to take off, and I'm using the same tight, but I'm using the same wrench to take this off. So same 1.25 inches. Take that off, replace the under the hood filter, fill it up with oil, and then we will start it. I'll get back to you in a minute once that is off. So I got that filter changed, and now I am using the funnel to fill up with oil, and I'm running 10W30 here in Western New York. Your mileage may vary depending on if you're in a hot or cold climate, but it is going to take 2.5 gallons or 10 quarts of whatever oil you want. I run Shell Rotella in all my equipment, all my diesels, so it just makes it easy. This is what we get, and this is what we've been running, what my family's always run in their vehicles. Your mileage may vary. I'm not saying this oil is better or not. I'm not sponsored by Rotella, but it is what I run. It's going to take 10 quarts or 2.5 gallons. I pre-filled my oil filter, and I actually didn't have a half a gallon in this one. I'm sorry, this one actually. It's a little dirty because it's been sitting on the shelf from the last time I changed my oil. I didn't actually have a half gallon in here, so I know I'm going to be a little bit low, but now I'm going to check it real quick and see where we're at. And then we'll get up to the startup procedure because we got to bleed the fuel system. All right, so I have my oil in there. Might have to check it again after it runs, but I am in the truck, and I got the keys in the truck. I'm not going to hold my foot on the brake. I'm just going to turn this on. So I let my lift pump run. I can hear it running. And we're going to cycle this a bunch of times so it primes the fuel system. And don't be afraid to do this, 5-10 times. Like it says, low fuel pressure, because I don't have anything in there. So we'll turn it off. We'll do it again. So we're just going to keep cycle this without actually turning the truck on. And the service due now, that's the same thing that we had, why I needed to do this. So I'm going to do this a bunch of times before I even bother to start the truck. All right, so I cycled the key over 10 times. So cycle it again. You notice this comes on, but we don't have the low fuel pressure anymore. So I'm going to turn this off. And now we are going to, moment of truth with the foot on the brake, start it. And it should, in theory, start. Right up. Just easy. And I am going to let it idle here for a minute or two. I'm going to get out, I'm going to check and make sure there's no leaks under the hood, make sure there's no leaks coming from under the truck. As I was priming it, I didn't see any, but we'll let it idle for a minute or two, warm up, make sure it doesn't throw any lights. That one I'm just going to change because we just did the oil, but we actually go into here. No warnings, so driver assistance, maintenance, and I'm just using these keys right here. So oil control system, reset. It says 10,000 miles, but I do mine every 5,000. That's just feels like a good thing for me. So we'll go through, reset all of these. Okay. So should be good. So no warnings. We should be good. But I'll go check the truck and then we will get out of here. So just so you know, in the Napa Gold filters, that is the filter by your lift pump, the bigger filter. That's the under the hood fuel filter. And this is the number for your oil filter. So truck ran for a couple minutes. Everything's looking good. I got to run. There's no leaks coming from underneath the truck that I can see, so that's good. So, final thoughts. All right, guys, so I just pulled out of the shop and I got to run because somebody is coming to my house to pick up some furniture that we sold. So let me know if you found this content helpful. Do you like to see the maintenance videos? Am I wasting my time? Is there anything you need help with on your vehicle that I can try and make a video on? Leave it in the comments below. What else do you want to see? I know the last 2 videos were stump grinder videos, so that should be good. I should make some people happy. I saw those comments. But let me know if you like this. Share it, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.